everyone, I'm Jane, and today I'll be giving the presentation on the nutrition assessment assignment. So the patient that I work with is called patient Y. She is a 20-year-old female. Her height is 5'2", her weight is 97 pounds, and her BMI is 17.8, which classify her as underweight. She indicates that she had almost no or very light physical activity, and she is currently not taking any medications. However, she was recently diagnosed with anemia and had blood transfusion. She was found occult blood in her stool, and the physician diagnosed for her as GI bleeding. And she said that she had family history of digestive problems. Her grandpa was died of colon cancer. Personally, she had no concern for weight loss recently, and she was able to maintain her weight. According to the lab test provided by her, she had low hemoglobin and low hematocrit, which indicate that she had iron deficiency anemia. So according to her dietary intake, she is not meeting her macronutrients target for proteins, carbs, and fats. So the first past statement I wrote for her is she had inadequate energy intake related to GI bleeding and poor appetite as evidenced by average total energy intake of 3-day food record was lower than the dietary reference. And for her micronutrients analysis, she is not meeting her iron requirements. She also had her vitamin B intake lower than the target level, and she also have insufficient amount of vitamin D intake, primarily because she is not consuming enough dairy product. Since the main issue here is that she has GI bleeding and she had concern for iron deficiency anemia. So the micronutrients focus here will be on the iron. So the second past statement for her is inadequate mineral intake for iron related to lack of iron-rich food in the diet as evidenced by the total iron intake was below the RDA. And according to the counselor's perspective, the main issue here is to address her GI bleeding, so she should continue seeking advice from the doctor to treat her diseases. From the medical nutrition aspects, she should suggest for small frequent meals and avoid spicy food, crunchy food, and limit caffeine consumption in her diet to avoid interfere with iron absorption. Also, she should consume more iron-rich food, especially eat more heme iron food from animal sources. Also, she needs to include more carbs and healthy fats in the diet to increase the total caloric intake. So from the client's perspective, she said the 3-day food record she provided to me was not able to reflect her normal diet because she was feeling poor appetite and was unable to cook much for herself during the week that she had GI bleeding, but she was normally able to meet her daily requirements. She indicates that she wants to increase her physical activity to boost appetite, but she is currently not physically capable to do any exercise due to anemia and weakness. She wants to include more healthy fat in her diet, but she is not a big fan of nuts. She thinks adding vegetable oils to her diet will be doable. Also, she think one of the iron-rich food that she could incorporate in her diet is the chicken liver. So after the negotiation between the counselor and the client, we came up with 3 goals for the patients to work on. The first one is to consume small, frequent meals to help the patient improve the appetite. So she could consider having snacks between meals, like apples and yogurts, whenever she feels hungry. And the second goal is to help her GI recovery through eliminate spicy and crunchy foods in the diet, so she could avoid any GI discomfort. Also, she is willing to consume caffeine in moderation by limiting the coffee consumption to a cup per day. And the third goal is to increase her total energy intake. She indicated that whenever she cooked at home, she was not able to eat enough calories. Um, However, every time she ate at a dining hall, she is able to consume much. So the third goal for her is to have meals at a dining hall more often, at least 3 times per week. So after 1 week, I follow up with the patient, and she said she was able to achieve the goals pretty well, and she felt better and less fatigued when she increased her total energy intake through small and frequent meals. Also, she tried some more GI tolerable food in her diet. Instead of having cooked vegetables, she have more like vegetable stews in her meals. Also, she increased her visits to Cornell Dining more often to have a more balanced meal with vegetables, whole grains, and proteins. So she is like consuming taco salad or burrito bowls to increase her total calorie intake while consuming a variety of food groups. So we discussed the next step at the end of our conversation, and the client indicated that once her GI issue is able to fully resolve, she hopes to resume her normal diet. And she is considering increasing the quantity of grains and protein in her diet to meet her macronutrients requirements. However, she said if she is continuously diagnosed for anemia, she doesn't really want to add more iron-rich food in her diet in the future because she thinks it's not convenient for her. She is considering having iron supplements instead. So that's the end of this assignment. So if I will have a chance to do it differently next time, I will probably retrieve the food record from record from the patients that can reflect the client's normal intake. So I will have a better understanding on if she is able to achieve her macronutrients target in her normal diet. Thank you for listening to the presentation.